Let's talk about some more thing. This is how comments work in Python or in any other programming language also. Only the syntax are difference for single line comment and multi-line comment in different programming language. But in Python, for single line comments, we are using hash, and for multi-line comments, we are using triple quotes. Now, let me again comment it out. Everything. Let's talk about some more thing. Suppose, as I already told you, that in Python is a dynamically typed language, no? That means any type of data you're going to store, you don't need to declare it previously. By default, at runtime, it understand like which type of data you store in it. So let's see whether it is correct or not. Okay, let's prove it. So suppose in A, I'm using 9. Okay, so 9 is a integer type of data. Also, I have not declared it yet. Okay, let's see what kind of data Python understands it. But the problem is how we can check it out. So for that, we have a function called type function, by which we can find out a type of data. Okay, so I want to find out that a is equal to 9. That means in A we are storing 9, but it depends on the data type, that how much memory it will take, okay, according to the data type. So for that we need to find out which type of data it uses. So to check this out, we have a function called type function. Let's see how we can use it. So I'm using here print the value of A. Okay, let me define it like this one. A. Okay, so whatever I'm going to write it directly, a space colon and space. So all these things I'm writing in the inverted, so it exactly looks in the output screen same way. And then comma a, that means after a separator, after a single space, we got the value of a. Let me show you how it looks like. Okay, now I want to check what is the type of this a. So I'm using here print type of a, or you can see here type. You can see that object's type. It will give the type of the object. Let's see, run this code, and you can see the answer here. Answer is class integer. Okay, that means it belongs to integer class. But the problem is why it is defining as class. It is because of in Python each and everything is an object, because it also follows OOPS concept. So in Python, each and everything is an object. Okay. So if there is an object, it always belongs to a class. That's why here A is also an object which belongs to integer class. If there is any object, it belongs to a class always. Okay. We will discuss about more in class and in OOPS concept actually. Okay. You will easily understand it. But for now, you can understand it gives the output as class integer. It is because of in Python, because it also follows OOPS concept. So here each and everything is an object. And if there is an object, that means here A is also an object. And if there is any object, that means it always belongs to a class. Without class, it is not possible to create any object. Okay. Now, suppose, let me just copy it from here. Just copy it. Control C and V. Now in place of 9, I'm writing here 3.4. Okay. Now it is a float type of data. Let me run this code one more time. So when the value of a is 9, it gives you, it belongs to class integer. But when the value of a is 3.4, it becomes float. So it is a dynamically type of data. You are not declaring it before, but at the runtime, it defines a type of data. Same way, anything which you are writing in between the inverted comma, it is nothing but the string. Okay, so here let's run this code, and you can see the output here. It belongs to string class. Okay, so these are the things. This is how you can understand dynamically typed language. Okay, one more thing let me discuss here, and that is like, suppose if I'm using here I already told you about memory management, where if I'm using here like this one, just a minute, when we have a is equal to 2, b is equal to 3, and c is equal to 2 again, In our memory, it looks like this. In A, we got 2. In B, we got 3. In C, we have 2. C is already in the memory. So Python interpreter will not create another 2 in the memory. But A and C are going to share the same 2. Okay. Let's see whether it is correct or not. For that, I'm going to remove this part. Okay. Let's see. So suppose in A, B, and C, I have 2, 3. And for the same example I'm taking here, let me just print the value of a value of B, and the value of C. Okay. So let's see. Let's run this code. It will give you the same value every time. Let me define now now let me tell you one more thing here. Every time when you're going to store any value in the memory, no, suppose in A we have 2. So for this object space, the space in the memory is having some unique ID in it. Okay, or maybe the object is having the unique ID, the object identity, like the Aadhaar card number for all the humans, like for all the Indian humans. Okay, so we have some Aadhaar card value. It is a unique number for all the objects. Same way, that is the identity of that object. Same way, to find out the identity of the object, we have ID function by which you can get the ID. Okay, suppose in A I have 2. Okay, in the memory, in A, it stores 2. Okay, now the ID of this object is suppose 1111. Now in B, we have 3. Okay, so the ID of 3 is 2222. Again, in C, we have 2. So C 2 is already available in the memory, so it will not fit another object 2, but A and C are going to share the same object. So the object of ID of 2 is exactly 2 because A and C are sharing the same object. We do not have two objects here. Okay, so when I'm going to check the ID of A, you can see return the identity of an object, ID of A. Same way, ID of B and ID of C. You can see here, this is ID of A. This is ID of B. And you can see ID of C. ID of A and ID of C are exactly same to each other. You can match here. It is because of 2 is shared by A and C both. And the object is only 1 in the memory. That's why the identity is also showing the same one. Exactly same. Okay. I hope this part is clear to everyone. Okay, one more thing I told you, that every time you create the object, you run the program, it creates the object again and again. Doesn't matter whether it is available in the memory or not, it creates it again. That's why the previous objects are removed by the garbage collector, which is of no use. Okay, so let me just define it here also in practical. So let's see, suppose in A I have 5 and I just want to print the value of A and the ID of A. Okay, in between I want to add some space. So, or let's just use it like this one. Let's use here ID of A. Okay, and let me print the value of A also. Run this code. See, for 5, this is the ID. Let me minimize it. Let's run this code once again. And you can see the ID is changed now. Okay, so at first this is the object 5, but now when you execute the code once again, doesn't matter whether the object is available in the memory or not, it removes every time when you execute the code. So that's why this is removed from the memory by the garbage collector and creates the new one. Okay, now I hope as of now the basic concepts are clear to everyone. Let's talk about some more things, and today or in this video I'm going to start with the data type in Python. Okay, which is a very interesting topic, you will enjoy it. Okay, so the first thing is, what is exactly data type? Okay, one more thing, let me repeat here, if you're having any doubt as of now, because this is the core one. Okay, these are the core topics. Okay, you need to understand all these things. If you're having any doubt, just follow the process. You can ask me the questions. Okay, or you can write all the query in the discussion box as well. Okay, now let's start with the data types. Let me open my bamboo paper. And don't need to worry about, I'll upload all that thing on the same LMS from where you are accessing the videos. Okay, so let's talk about data types in Python. Okay, so what is data type actually? It is basically define the type of data, okay, which defines which type of operators you can use, which type of process you can perform. Okay, to define all these things, we define the type of data in any programming language. Like suppose if you have an integer type of data, that means it defines that you can apply which kinds of operators on you, like addition, multiplication, division, subtraction, floor, okay, seal, these kinds of thing you can apply on it. Not seal actually. Okay, it works on the float. Okay, so it basically defines which kinds of operators you can apply on which type of data. So in data type we define which type of data we are defining. Okay, now in Python we have different types of data where we are storing the value in the memory. The first thing is we have number type of data. We have number type of data. Okay, let me open that same PPT which we have discussed yet. Okay, where all these things are already written there. Okay, give me a second. So we understand what is actually constant, variable, naming convention of a variable, some examples, and the data type. So a particular kind of data item is called data types. The types of data in Python is number, string, boolean, list, tuple, dictionary, and set. Okay. Now, so in number type of data, first of all, we have integer, float, and complex type of data. Okay. So let's see. In integer type of data, no. Just a minute. Okay. So in integer type of data, the range is in between minus n to plus n, because it is a because Python is a dynamical type of data. Now in integer we have integer 4 byte, integer 2 byte, integer 8 byte of integer. Okay, data type. So here you don't need to clarify it that it is an integer 2 byte, integer 4 byte, integer 8 byte and all. Okay, but when you are going to store the value, no, it will just define whatever size of the data, it define it then in the size of memory. Okay, so you don't need to declare it because it is a dynamically type of language. So you can just define it like this. It depends how many space it will take in the memory. So according to that, it identifies that it is an integer 2, 4, or 8 byte of memory. Okay, so that's why I'm using here integer. The range of integer is minus n to plus n. That means you can define minus n is also integer type of data, and plus 9 is also integer type of data. Same way, float is also works from minus, the range of float is also from minus n point n to plus n point n to plus n point n. We write it once again, plus n point n. Okay, so here minus n point 0 is also a float type of data, and plus n point 0 is also float type of data. And the last one, we have complex type of data. So in complex type of data is a collection of real and imaginary value. Real and imaginary value. Okay, it's like a imaginary value is nothing but under root minus 1, or you can define it by I also in the mathematics. So anything which is a collection of real and imaginary part is called complex. So 2 plus 5i is a complex type of data where 2 is the real part of that data and 5 is the imaginary type of the data, where I Basically here we do not have I, we have j actually, 2 plus 5j. Here j indicates under root minus 1. Okay. So in Python, we don't need to write I for the imaginary type of data, but we can use here j in place of I, which indicates under root minus 1. Okay. So complex is a combination of real and imaginary value. Let's understand it one by one in the programming part. So for the integer first, I'm using here in A and B, I have 9 and minus 9.9. Okay. Let's print the value of A and the type of A. Same way, I'm going to print the value of B and the type of B. Let's run this code. As you can see, 9 and minus 9. Both belongs to class integer. Doesn't matter how many value I'm going to add here. Okay, all belongs to integer class because it is a dynamically type of language. Same way, let me just copy all these things from here. Control C. Let's comment it also. V plus and minus. Let me just add a point in between. Okay, and you can see here both are belongs to float type of data. Okay, same way, A is equal to 5 plus 9j. Okay, let me print the value of A and print type of A. Okay, run this code and you can see the output here. The output is complex. That means this A belongs to complex type of data. Now, if you want, you can extract one by one the real and imaginary part as well. So I'm using here print A dot. I just want to have the real part. Okay. So in complex type of data, no, the real and imaginary, both of the parts in a float type of data. So if I'm using a dot real, so in this case, when I'm going to run this code, you can see we are getting at 5.0, which is a float type of data. Same way, after comma, I'm using your A dot real. Oh, sorry, imaginary. So image, which is basically belongs 9. So 9.0. Okay, real part and imaginary part. One more way you can create your complex type of data, and that is A is equal to by using complex function. See, you can define the real imaginary part. By default is 0, but if you want, you can give your own value also. So 3 and 6. 3 is the real part, 6 is the imaginary part. Okay, so 3 plus 6j, complex type of data 3.6 and 6.0, it is because of that real and imaginary part you are extracting from here. Okay, suppose if I'm not using any value here, now you can see, so 0j, why? Because 0 plus 0j, so 0 means nothing, 0 plus 0, so the 0j class complex, 0.0 is the real part, 0.0 is the imaginary part, because the by default value for real imaginary is 0. Okay, so now I hope the things are clear how actually number type of data works. In the next video, we are going to learn how string type of data works.